Picture a poor boy. He has almost nothing but one ball at his feet. Now picture a giant stadium in Mexico, full of noise, full of color, full of hope. In that stadium, that same poor boy, now a man, scored 2 goals on the same day. Some people called the first goal cheating. The world called the second goal genius. And a whole nation never forgot him. This is the story of Diego Maradona. It is a story about a dream. It is a story about pressure. And it is a story about legacy. Maradona left behind something very big. He left behind memories, arguments, joy, pain, and millions of people who loved him. But love can be heavy. Fame can be heavy. A whole country can be heavy. So, here is our question for today. How much weight can one boy carry? Let us go back to the beginning, to a small, poor neighborhood, where the story starts. Story 1. The boy with one ball. Diego Armando Maradona was born on October 30th, 1960, in Llanos, near Buenos Aires, Argentina. But the place that shaped his childhood was Villa Fiorito, a poor neighborhood on the edge of the city. The houses were small. The streets were rough. Many families had very little money. Diego grew up poor. His family was large, and life was hard. But poverty is not only about money. Poverty can also mean that the world does not expect much from you. It can mean that nobody is watching. It can mean that your dreams feel too big for the place where you were born. And yet, Diego had something special. He had a gift. The story goes that he received his first ball when he was very young. From that day, the ball became more than a toy. It became a friend. It became a future. It became the thing that made him feel powerful in a world where his family had very little power. He played on dirt fields. He played in narrow streets. He played wherever there was space. Sometimes great stories begin in beautiful stadiums. This one began in dust. People in the neighborhood started to watch him. They could not believe what they were seeing. This small boy could control the ball like it was connected to his body. He moved with it. He danced with it. He protected it. He seemed to understand it in a way other children did not. He grew up poor, but he had a gift. He played on dirt fields, but he dreamed of the world. He came from a forgotten place, but the ball made people look at him. Against all odds, a poor boy from Villa Fiorito began to dream of something bigger. He dreamed of playing for Argentina. He dreamed of standing on the biggest stage in football. It was a huge dream for such a small boy. But greatness can begin in a place where nobody is watching. A dirt field. A poor family. One ball and one giant dream. But a dream is not enough. Life does not give you everything you want. And soon, this dreaming boy would feel the first heavy weight of his life. The weight of rejection. Story 2. The boy who was left behind. By the time Diego was a teenager, many football people in Argentina already knew his name. He made his professional debut at just 15, only 10 days before his 16th birthday. He was young, fast, fearless, and full of talent. People could see that he was different. People could see that something special was happening. So when the 1978 World Cup came, Diego wanted to be part of it. That tournament was not just any World Cup. Argentina was the host nation. The matches were happening in his own country. The streets were full of hope. The country was waiting for glory. And young Diego had one dream. He wanted to be chosen for the squad. But the coach made a decision. Diego was too young. He was left out. He was only 17, and the dream was taken away from him. Then something even more painful happened. Argentina won the 1978 World Cup. The whole nation celebrated. People danced in the streets. Flags moved through the air. Families cried with joy. Argentina had reached the top of the world. But Diego was not there. Argentina was celebrating, but Diego was hurting. The country was happy, but the boy was heartbroken. There is a special kind of pain in being left out. It is the feeling of standing outside while everyone else is inside. It is watching other people live the moment you wanted for yourself. But rejection was not the end of Diego's story. He did not disappear. He did not give up. He carried the pain quietly. He carried the disappointment. He carried the feeling of being left outside the biggest moment in his country's football history. And he turned that pain into fuel. He trained harder. He played with anger and hope at the same time. He wanted to prove that he was not too young, not too small, not too early. Sometimes the people who are left out become the strongest people of all, because they have something to prove. And 1 year later, the boy received another chance. This time, he would not be left behind. Story 3. The boy who gave hope to forgotten people. In 1979, Diego got his moment. He played in the FIFA World Youth Championship, a tournament for young players. This time, he was not left out. This time, he was the star. He became the leader of the team through his football, through his energy, his skill, his courage, and his presence on the pitch. Argentina won the tournament. Diego was brilliant. The boy who had been rejected 1 year before was now lifting a championship with his country. It was his first answer to the world. He had proved people wrong. But Diego's story was not only about Argentina. A few years later, another place would need him. Not a country this time, but a city. In 1984, Maradona moved to Italy to play for Napoli. To understand why this mattered, you need to understand Napoli. Napoli is a city in the south of Italy. At that time, many of the richest and strongest Italian clubs were from the north. Napoli was often treated like the underdog. The city felt ignored. Many people in Naples felt looked down on by the richer north. They wanted respect. They wanted pride. They wanted someone to make them feel seen. And then Maradona arrived. For the people of Napoli, he was not only a footballer. He became a symbol. He came from poverty too. He understood what it meant to be underestimated. He understood what it meant when powerful people looked down on you. When he played, the city felt stronger. When he won, the city felt remembered. With Maradona, Napoli won league titles that had once seemed impossible. They won trophies. They stood against the powerful clubs of the north and proved that the underdog could rise. For Napoli, those wins were not only sporting victories. They felt like respect. They felt like dignity. They felt like a forgotten city finally being heard. A true hero does not only win games. A true hero can make forgotten people feel seen. But the biggest weight was still waiting. First came the weight of rejection. Then came the weight of a forgotten city. Soon, Diego would carry something even heavier. A whole nation. Story 4. The day he carried Argentina. The date was June 22, 1986. The place was the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. The match was Argentina against England in the World Cup quarterfinal. This game was about more than football. A few years before, Argentina and England had fought a short war. We will not turn this into politics, but the emotion around the match was real. Everyone understood that the game carried a heavy feeling. The stadium was full. The pressure was enormous. And on that day, Diego Maradona did two things the world would never forget. The first goal was strange. Diego jumped for the ball with the English goalkeeper. In that moment, he touched the ball with his hand. In football, touching the ball with your hand is against the rules. But the referee did not see it. The goal was allowed. This created huge controversy. Some people called it cheating. Others remembered it as one of the most famous moments in football history. Later, this goal got a famous name, the Hand of God. But only a few minutes later, Diego did something completely different. He did something no one could call cheating. He got the ball in his own half. Then came a moment of genius. He turned. He ran. He moved past one English player, then another, then another. He moved past 5 English players, then past the goalkeeper, and scored. It was one of the most extraordinary goals ever seen. The world called it the goal of the century. 2 goals. One day. One was controversy. One was genius. One broke the rules. One made history. That is why Maradona's story is not simple. On the same afternoon, he gave the world both argument and beauty. He became both judged and loved. Argentina won the match 2-1. Then Argentina went on to win the 1986 World Cup. Diego lifted the trophy. The boy who had once been left out now stood at the very top of the world. On that day, he carried Argentina, but after that, he was no longer just a footballer. He became something larger than a man. He became a symbol. He became a memory. He became a kind of myth. And myths are heavy for human beings to carry. After 1986, the weight did not disappear. It became heavier. Story 5. The weight became too heavy. After 1986, Diego Maradona was not just a footballer. He was a symbol. In Argentina, people loved him deeply. In Napoli, people painted his face on walls. To many people, he represented hope, pride, rebellion, and genius. But this love came with a price. Fame gave him love, but it also brought pressure. Everywhere he went, people watched him. Everyone wanted something from him. They wanted goals. They wanted miracles. They wanted emotion. They wanted a hero who never became tired. But Diego was human. And slowly, the weight became too heavy. The same love that made him powerful also became a burden. Diego began to struggle with addiction. We should speak about this with care and kindness. Addiction is not a joke. It is not a simple weakness. It is a serious human struggle, and many people suffer from it. Maradona's life became more difficult. In 1991, he received a 15-month suspension. In 1994, during the World Cup, he failed a drug test and was sent home from the tournament. It was a painful fall from the top. The boy from Villa Fiorito had reached the highest place in football. He had carried a city. He had carried a country. But now the weight of fame, expectation, and personal struggle had become too much. Still, we do not tell this part to judge him. We tell it because it is part of the truth. A person can be gifted and flawed. A person can be loved and troubled. A person can create beauty and still suffer deeply. For many years, the people who loved him hoped he would find peace. On November 25, 2020, Diego Maradona died at the age of 60. The news traveled around the world in minutes. Argentina stopped. People cried in the streets. There were days of national mourning. In Napoli, people lit candles. They remembered the man who once gave them pride. They remembered the man who made their city feel powerful. They said farewell to their hero. Maradona's legacy is not clean or simple. It is brilliant. It is painful. It is controversial. And it is human. He is remembered for his genius, for his goals, for his contradictions, and for his giant heart. A person can be flawed and still unforgettable. Maradona was the boy who carried Argentina, but after his death, Argentina carried his memory.